Spooky sounds. Thank you for the free spooky sounds. Halloween's coming. I love Halloween. I don't know about you guys, but let's see that we're all turned on tonight. How are we doing? Another video from Cities and Suburbs. Welcome aboard. October 17th, 2020. Retailers. Okay, these are the items that are right now that if you go to find them, don't be so surprised. 20%, 21% and growing, I think. Retailers do not have paper goods. 18% do not have cleaning products to sell you, by the way. 18% are lacking canned goods. And 11%, you guys remember this was the flour thing. So we're getting into the cooler months. Coronavirus update. Here with Massachusetts, 702 new cases, 30 deaths as average positive tests climb to 1.4. Officials confirmed 702 new coronavirus cases in what continues to be a steady increase. Now this was that number is based on 14,962 new molecular tests. I think those are the deep dive tests. I not taking one of those. I do not want to take one of those. I'm trying to, boy oh boy. But it seems like we're here in Worcester into the red. And so the corona just keeps spiking. And again, the leadership around this is porous, I think. I mean, there's a fact, but it leaks. I mean, you can read whatever you want into it, but that's just what it is right now. So I guess we just have to exercise, intellect, know where you're going, and don't dismiss anything as, well, don't be so coincidental about it, I guess, because this virus is still spiking in Massachusetts. So I'm not saying that, and yes, the tested positive, there's a lot more testing going on. Everybody wanted that. There's actually some folks close to my circle who were engaged with the coronavirus. So speaking of that too, a couple of weeks ago when the President of the United States nominated the new Supreme Court Justice, 9 people in attendance contacted the contracted. I keep using that word wrong. Is it contracted? Were infected by the coronavirus. And one was the former governor of New Jersey, Chris Christie, who, really whipped his butt. And he said, wear your mask. I wasn't wearing a mask. And kind of get all caught up in this. And, it just also goes to show that money, power, what does a bug really care about that, right? I mean, you could be at an outdoor barbecue at Billy Bob's, and or outside cocktail party, at the White House, and still get bit by a mosquito and still get encephalitis, right? These things do not distinguish viruses and flus, and even though they're living organisms, they just prey on the weak, right? So if you're weak and vulnerable, at this point, let's pay attention to that, because everybody, everybody matters here, right? So, and that being said, the presidential town halls the other night, I will say that I listened to both of them, and not in real time. I went back and I tried to listen to them in real time, but that wasn't going to happen. But I went down and kind of digested it, and what I saw in both of those town halls, the debates between President Trump and Vice President Biden was, I don't know who said this, but a nothing burger. I mean, I went back the other night and I watched from 1960 the Kennedy-Nixon debate. And you know what the topics were? War, food stamps, racial inequality, China, Welch, West Virginia, the first town that was actually given food stamps by, I believe, President Kennedy himself. 1980, okay, Jimmy Carter, President Jimmy Carter, President Ronald Reagan, war, Iran, gas, a weak military. We got a theme going here. 1991, Clinton versus President Bush, President Clinton, William Clinton versus President Bush. Social Security, health care, free health care. Remember that. 2000, 9/11, George Bush, okay? $300 stimulus. I mean, do you see the theme here? This is how we're going to take care of you. And now I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do that. And let's just say this. Since the 1950s, okay, America has lost so much of its manufacturing base that almost 40%, you know, after World War II, particularly in the 60s and 70s. I mean, we just saw all this slide right out of here. And so what does that mean? To me, that means that we've gone into this global competition. Our workforce is better than your workforce, you know, meaning our workforce requires this, your workforce requires that, meaning that overseas from the United States, there are wages are less, the economy is, you go to China and other nations. Conversely, we're buying those products back that we did not make. You know, and those things were once built on union labor, you know, and if you think about the, you know, decline of manufacturing in the United States, it's unbelievable that we were stable at 17 million manufacturing jobs in 1965. And declined by 1/3 in that decade, falling by 5.8 million to 12 billion in 2010. Manufacturing jobs, returning to just 12.3 million in 2016. So when you think about bringing manufacturing back, and I only mention that because people need to work. And you should not have to have a college diploma to have a good paying job. Okay? A good paying job. And it's because of, I believe, the global competition, my student against yours, that we have lost these manufacturing jobs. Our inner cities, you know, they're not places of prosperity. They're not invested in. But I also believe that our inner cities were used, I say that, our cities were used to build an economy for the United States right now. which the return in terms of on investment in those cities are poor. You know, Detroit, I mean, you're never going to get back like 300, 400,000 people, right? And now, if you think about this, how many people are leaving cities just because, particularly, I mean, big cities like New York and things like that, because people can't make a living there, you know? It's the same way people left Detroit, you know? There were no jobs there anymore, being priced out, you know, gentrification, you know, new wave coming in, right? So we'll see how those, it's almost class economics, we know that. But we are experiencing, we're hoping anyway, we are experiencing some kind of rebound in 2021. A lot of our businesses are closed because of COVID, and we need to find some kind of plan for COVID. And wearing a mask, I don't believe is going to really do it for anybody for another year. I just don't, you know. I just don't see it. But bringing jobs back to the United States, I'm all for that. You know, dignified jobs. And what I mean by that, we shouldn't look down our nose at, you know, the service economy. That is the biggest thing in the United States right now. I mentioned that the other night. But still, those are jobs that you can use as a platform to grow into. So that being said, guys, I am going to ditch out on this episode. There are important things to do tonight, like watch the, or listen to the Houston Astros against the Oakland Athletics, I believe. Oh, no, against the Tampa Bay Rays. You know, Houston had come back from 3-0. Now, to tie the series, 3-3. So we'll see what happens here. Just a little rant for you guys, but you know, we need jobs in this country. And I guess my point was that I've been listening to elections for a long time, and exercise your own brain. And that doesn't always mean that, you know, going out and voting for the right person. That means doing the right thing for you. Take care, guys.